Hello, welcome to The Conversation on New Central Television. This is a program where we bring you up to speed with all the political happenings on the African continent. I am Gbenga, Aborowa.
And I am Rita, Omodia. Today on The Conversation, we will be looking at Nigeria's new political dispensation as the country earlier today swore in Bola Tinubu as its new president amidst several political and economic situations.
Also, on the program today, we will be looking at the potentials of Africa on the world map as the chairman of the African Union Commission, Musa Faki Mahamat, advised the continent to resist intensifying global rivalries to avoid creating a Cold War.
Very interesting conversation, we must say, putting Africa on the biggest scale of the map and, of course, avoiding this Cold War that we're seeing or regional rivalry that we've so far witnessed.
And he said that while commemorating Africa Day, and Africa Day shouldn't just be on paper, and also that after, I believe the African Union is, if you look at most countries, clocking 60 years post-independence, there should be more integration within the continent and not just talk. Talk is, like they say, talk is very cheap.
Yeah, we've had such conversations. We also saw a conversation, I think last week, there was a former president, Thabo Mbeki, was talking about the fact that other external factors are sowing seeds of rivalry in the country. So we're talking about development. Meanwhile, in Nigeria, I mean, it was a historic event. Though rainy, but yet, you know, it still went on.
Rainy in different parts of the country,
yes,
in
actually.
Abuja, and I believe that should usher in success.
So you believe in those sentiments like showers of blessings?
Like the day I was born, it rained. That's why I'm a great man today.
So you're a rain child, great man.
Yes.
Wow.
Happy Democracy Day to you, my sister.
All right. Happy Democracy Day indeed. Well, on Twitter, on social media, it's saying a different thing entirely. Okay, but let's begin in Nigeria, where on Monday, today, May the 29th, at Eagle Square in Abuja, Nigeria's capital city, Bola Tinubu, a former governor of Lagos State, was inaugurated as the 16th president of Nigeria after a lengthy electioneering process that lasted for months. Alongside Tinubu was his deputy, Kashim Shettima, who also took the oath of office, which was administered by the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Olukayode Ariwoola. The inauguration ceremony was graced by the presence of various African leaders and dignitaries, including the new Prime Minister of Gabon, Bilie. Also in attendance, we had President Alassane Ouattara of the Republic of Cote, President Akufo-Addo of Ghana, President Paul Kagame of Rwanda, and President Cyril Ramaphosa of South Africa. During his inauguration address at the Eagle Square, President Tinubu expressed his commitment to addressing the pressing issues facing Nigeria. He pledged to combat terrorism and criminality, revamp the economy, ensure accessible electricity, and undertake budgetary reforms, among other initiatives aimed at advancing the nation. Let's take a look at the events at the Eagle Square in Abuja earlier today.
Administration will govern you only on your behalf, but never rule over you. We shall consult and dialogue, but never dictate. We shall reach out to all, but never put down a single person for holding view contrary to our own. We are here to further mend and heal this nation, not tear and injure it. We shall defend the nation from terror and all form of criminality that threaten the peace and stability of our country. No provision is there.
Now, join us live for this discussion. We have Kunle Lawal. He is the Executive Director of Electoral College. He joins us from Lagos, Nigeria. We also have Barrister Bashir Badru, a legal practitioner, joining us from Kano City. A warm welcome to you, gentlemen, and thanks for joining us on the conversation. Now, Barrister Badru, a warm welcome to you. Now, what is your general assessment of the newly sworn President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's inaugural speech? Was there any part of the speech that stood out for you?
Yeah, thank you very much. Good evening, everyone, and happy Democracy Day. Thank God for a new dawn and a renewed hope. A new Nigeria is there. Very quickly, yes, there is something that actually caught my interest, and that is, we shall govern over you on your behalf, but will never rule over you. I think this is a very significant statement that should go down in memory lane. Every individual should ponder over this statement and hold the president responsible for this statement if there is any occurrence in the future, even from today, that differs from this statement. If any behavior differs from this statement, then he could be held responsible. Anything he does in 4 years, this is a standard measure for him to see whether this president is ready to govern on our behalf and not rule over us. I think this statement really caught my attention.
Definitely lots of standpoints for President Tinubu, just like we had for President Buhari. But looking at the situation of things at the moment, he also talked about the rule of law, and you're mentioning the fact that he said he will never rule over the citizens. How would you rate the general status of things? Because on social media, we're seeing lots of discussions, we're seeing lots of contests with the presidency and all of that. Do you think the speech was able to give a sense of unity, a sense of hope, renewed hope, as the APC will say, to the people?
Exactly. This is the way I see the message. This is a message to say that this government is going to be all-inclusive. This is not a government that will have any air of draconian rule. This is not a government that will be insensitive to call to rule of law. This is a government that is going to be established firmly on the foundation of the promises made in the manifesto. So to say that I'm not going to rule over you doesn't say that I'm not going to apply the laws that establishes my office. No, it's saying that, to my mind, this is my understanding of that statement, that we're going to govern over you because we govern by the rule of law. But we're not going to be a ruler that acts on its own whims and caprices. This is a beautiful statement. And to me, this is the summary of the entire manifesto of the All Progressives Congress.
Now, Bashir, as we speak, the presidential election petition tribunal is sitting. And in the history of Nigeria, the courts have never overturned the results of a presidential election. How much of a distraction will that be? Will that be on the government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, knowing that you have this court case hanging there, even though the law says it should conclude its business in 180 days?
Yes. We all understand the person of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the president. He is somebody that is not distracted by anything. He's not swayed by anything. So this is a person that you can always trust that he is not bothered about, yes, he's concerned about the matter going on in court. It has always gone on for every president-elect. Every president that has been elected into the office of presidency in this country has always faced a similar challenge. The tribunal will continue to go on. Now they have a time frame to end. So he is going to settle down and continue his work. Whatever the outcome of the tribunal does not really in any way affect him. But let me tell you something. Like a lot of people have said, no tribunal anywhere in the world has ever sacked a sitting president. The moment this man is sworn in, because the way to prove material, documentary evidence to prove to the satisfaction of the tribunal, so much so that it will now sway into your side, it's not easy. And this is one reason why these agitators were like, don't swear in, because the moment he is sworn in, that's the end of it. And it has always been that the end of it. So my appeal, my advice to the president is he settles down and begin his work, hit the ground running, because nothing from the tribunal can really, should really.
Bashir, can you hear us? Okay, so while you're talking about the president hitting the ground or running, as a former governor of Lagos State, there are some notable achievements and policies that, the president was hammering on during his campaign, talking about increasing the GDP of Lagos, housing infrastructure, and a whole lot of things that he did while he was governor of Lagos State. But another question arises. This was about how many years ago, from 1999 to 2007, while he was the governor. This is year 2023. And there are speculations, there are contestations on the health status of the president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He might have the desire to do things, but people also question if his health status can allow him do what is needed to rule the country firmly. I don't know what your thoughts are on that, Bashir.
You see that I'm even smiling before you conclude that question. You see, we always wish for people what we don't want to wish for ourselves. It is very sad. I just read on the news now, a breaking news that Dr. C is dead. May his soul rest in peace. A lot of people, these speculators, these prophets of doom, never saw this one coming, despite the fact that they always want to put their pin on notable people, on popular, famous Nigerians that have been predicted to die this year. He's not even one of them on the list. So forget about whatever these individuals are talking about, his health, his that. The same head with which he ruled Lagos State, nobody ever knew he would take Lagos State from what it was to what it is today. Way back then. If he can do that then, the head is still there, he's not sick in the head. He may have body infirmity. Everybody has his own carrying it about. That does not affect his brain. That does not affect any part of his medulla. So please, let us just shun these social media noises and allow the president to walk and take us out of the woods and take us to the promised land.
Thank you, Bashir. Now, talking about the president's working, the president is coming into office at a very difficult time in Nigeria, economically, and also with using quite a lot of money to service debt. So what areas? There's also record unemployment, and also oil theft is going on at an industrial scale. So what areas should he think he should prioritize, and what should we expect in the first 100 days of his administration?
Well, I think settling down, he has to first look at our foreign exchange and the way we transact business with the other part of the world. So let us have a stable currency. Let us have a money that can also challenge other economies outside this country. So the first thing to me, this president should focus on is stabilizing our economy and making Nigeria a country to be respected when it comes to meeting its needs. I have read people asking that they should do like Obasanjo, begging for forgiveness of our debts. I don't subscribe to that. This is a country that can pay even debts of the same nations that are giving us loans. So we can, if we are ready to give the support needed for this government, yes, we must be ready to bear the brunt as well. But I would expect this president to first tackle our ailing economy. And if that is settled, every other thing will fall in shape.
About the economy, one of the major highlights of his speech was the fact that, there's no provision for fuel subsidy. You go everywhere and that's what everyone is talking about. the fuel subsidy. That's one of the major things. He talked about economy also improving the GDP to nothing less than 6% and above. Those are things that Tinubu said during his inaugural speech. But for the fuel subsidy, I mean, different reactions have taken to it. For you, what was your own reaction to the fuel subsidy issue? Because this has hit a whole lot of Nigerians.
In the first place, an average Nigerian doesn't even know what fuel subsidy means. Because the question is, who benefits from the subsidy issue? We have always seen governments play games with the subsidy topic. And an average Nigerian doesn't even know what it is. All an average Nigerian wanted is there is available fuel to move around, to function in offices, to function in the companies. This is what we want. The industries must move when there is fuel. So the availability
and affordable.
is the first condition. Yes, it will be affordable because, wait, if now we have Dangote refinery, it will start production by July, latest, okay?
Hopefully.
Yes, it may be expensive at the beginning, but a fact must be noted that the more you have, if there are demands and there are no supply, then there is going to be problem. There is going to be scarcity. Then it's going to be expensive. But if there are demand and there are supply, yes, if it is expensive, it will be available, and to some extent, it will become much more to become affordable. So this thing takes time. And see how long we have been paying some faceless individuals, some vested interest in the name of subsidy that does not affect an average Nigerian of you and I. So, come on. Subsidy is not even captured in the 2023 budget. So, it's going to end by June. That's what they say. So, please, let us brace up and ready to embrace this new style, this new economy, and see how it flies. If fuel at the ordinary period, I bought fuel at 450 in Kano, 490 in Kano, 490 per liter. I bought fuel. So Nigerians were buying, even despite the fact that it was not even easy at that time. Today, we still. So I know in Lagos, in some part of Lagos, you find 185. In some part of FCT, you find 185. In major part of the country, the lowest you find is 200, 210. If the fuel price will come up to 250 or 300, Nigerians will still buy, because when there is availability and it is sustained, not that at a point we again go on strike and we say the fuel is not there, the NOPEN, the NNPC, come on. If it is going to be available and more hands are encouraged, our refineries begin to function, and it aided the new refinery that is being launched, come on. We won't even remember there was anything called subsidy anywhere that is removed.
Now, Bashir, President Bola Tinubu's success in diversifying the economy of Lagos State and also increasing its internally generated revenue is well documented. You did speak to the fact that you wouldn't want Nigeria begging around the world for debt forgiveness. And if you're too proud to beg, that means you have some money somewhere. So do you think, based on its success as governor of Lagos State, he will be able to shore up Nigeria's revenue so that we won't need to start begging for debt forgiveness? Do you think it has what it takes to replicate this on the federal level?
The president has everything that it takes to replicate what he gave us in Lagos State. He has become better informed, better exposed than his 8-year rules in Lagos State some 23 years ago. So he is better placed today. He is better informed. He has interacted with a whole lot of people outside the Lagos house after his 8 years. So today is more mature, more informed, more exposed, and to cap it, more elderly, to see things from a fatherly perspective, and not just from those guys of those days. So I see the president taking the country forward as long as Nigerians are ready to cooperate with the president. So he has everything that it takes to take us out of the woods. Like I said, I don't want to subscribe to begging. And this has always given the so-called Western country the power to dictate to us what we should do with our country. We have fuel, we can't refine, we have to take it to another place until some individuals, until the past government felt challenged and because of vested interest. What stops our 3 refineries from functioning and a 4th one be added by Dangote? But because that government said it's not going to be heard. It's not going to be heard by the public. I will want the president not to even pay attention to people, especially from the public service, to come and join him in governance, because those people are terrible. They believe only in taking things freely and not working for it. I'll give you an instance. Promotion in public services is after 3 years, after filling some upper forms and the rest of them. How many private interests fill upper form for promotion? Promotion should be based on what you are able to give. But that is not it in our system. And that is the more reason why our system will continue to be the way it is, so bastardized. Okay. Teachers who do not even attend classes for weeks will come and set exams for students, and he will want to be promoted too because he wants a salary rise. Salary rise should not be based on how many years you have spent as a civil servant or a public servant. No, should be based on what have you contributed to this.
Bashir, on this issue of education, aside the fact that yes, you have to be based on what you're working on, not how many years, there were practically agreements between the education system, that's the teachers, and the federal government. This is why we've been having a series of strikes. We talk about even the health sector, where the resident doctors have talked about the fact that the government have failed to implement different sort of MOUs that have been given to them. These are the reasons why they are actually going on strike. It's more of there's been an agreement with the government and the institutions, but yet the government has failed to implement this. Now, still talking about the institution is that of security. While the president was speaking, he mentioned just about talking about, increasing the funds revenue for security. But we did not necessarily hear so many things about the things that he would touch on for security. We know that in Plateau State recently, we've seen different sort of killings going on, and insecurity has been one bane in the country. I mean, what were you expecting for President Bola Tinubu, or what should Nigerians expect from him on the issue of security?
If Nigeria is not secure, if attention is not paid to security, he won't even be a president. If the country will continue to be the way it is, then his capacity to function is already crippled from the start. So you cannot be much concerned with respect to security as much as he's going to be as the president of the country. So I can assure you that this president will not allow the insurgencies, these pockets of insurgencies across the country to continue. I can assure you in the next 3 months, the country will be so safe that you will be able to travel anywhere in this country with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
But Bashir, why are you so confident, and what's the source of your information? Why are you so confident that things will turn?
At the time Bola Ahmed Tinubu took over as governor, the governor then rid Lagos completely, streets of Lagos completely. I will give you one example. Akala in Mushin. Akala is a den of lion. But what happened? Before the first 1 year of Bola Ahmed Tinubu as a governor, Akala has been put in shape. And every place the boys that were terrorizing the streets, the police was not set at them. But Bola Tinubu did something that took them away from the streets. Replaced the rickety vehicles, the avenue for these pickpocketers to harass individuals, to harass Lagosians. were taken away completely. All those slums were reduced. So insecurity became a thing of past until some other time. So the way Bola Tinubu got Lagos completely out of the threat of insecurity, he can also do the same thing with Nigeria. Okay. There is no place in this country that cannot be secured. No place.
Thank you very much, Bashir. I'm afraid we're out of time. So on that note, we would like to say a big thank you to you. And of course, we wish Nigerians well in this new dispensation. Thank you very much, as always, for your contribution.
Thank you.